We have finally got it. Today we're putting on the SR Performance rear strut tower brace on the Mustang. If you don't know already, I have a 2014 Mustang, and yes, this will work with the 11 through 14 models as well as 3.7 and 5.0 versions, but not the Boss 302. So a little backstory behind this rear strut tower brace is I already actually have a Megan Racing front strut tower brace already on the car that costed $80. Yes, I said it, $80. That's pretty cheap for a front strut tower brace, especially for this car. Now, this was a whole completely different story. Now, this bar over here, I actually didn't know if I really wanted to buy it. It was something I've always wanted, but I didn't know if I really wanted to spend $170. $170 for the rear and $80 for the front. That's a big price difference, and I was like, man, do I really want to spend that much on paint with a couple bars welded to them? I thought to myself, man, I really want to complete the suspension setup. I don't want to just have a front one and not have a rear one, because I like to have everything just all flow together really well. And I thought, screw it, I'm building all the suspension up already on the car as is. This will just add to it to make the car nice and sturdy. So I was like, let's go ahead and just drop down the $170. That was so hard to do, but we ended up dropping it down and we ended up getting this SR Performance strut tower brace. So let me talk about it just real fast. This thing is really, really nice. It feels light, it's strong. It doesn't feel like it's gonna bend at all, trust me. It feels really durable and sturdy. And whatever paint that they use, like it's a powder coat or like a truck liner, I don't know what they use, but this thing definitely just is an eye popper. You could buy this in chrome or you could buy this in the black finish, and I definitely wanted to buy this in the black finish. I felt like this would camouflage the trunk carpet on the inside because I really don't want to see it. And if I really want to see it, I could always add a sticker on this little plate that they have right here. And you could take this plate off. They have 3 screws on the bottom, 3 screws on top. And if you wanted to add like a sticker or have something engraved in there, you could definitely do so. So I got a little bit eager and I ended up opening this last night, which I wasn't gonna open it on camera with you guys today, but I was like, man, I really want to see this. I've been waiting a whole week. You guys know what it's like when you guys get car parts. You just want to open it up really fast and see what it's like. But I wanted to say that American Muscle did a great job packaging this whole strut tower brace together. They wrapped it in bubble wrap, they put it in a nice long box, and they even included instructions. They even included instructions with pictures. Yeah, oh, there it goes in the wind. If you're a visual learner, this will help you tremendously. You got pictures on here, and you also got words on here. So if you like using both, then there you go. Best of both worlds, you got it. Well, enough of the talking. Let's go throw this bad boy on right now. I think the first thing we need to do is clean out this messy trunk. That is a lot cleaner. So the first thing you're gonna have to do to be able to install the rear strut tower brace, you're gonna have to move all this carpet back. Now this is very easy. All you're doing is pulling this back, and then the carpet on the sidewall of the trunk, all you're doing is pulling that back as well. There's no clips attached, and you're gonna go right to the nut on the rear strut. Now this is where you're going to be installing the rear strut tower brace from one end all the way to the other. So one thing I had to do is I had to remove all this booger shit all over around the inside of the trunk liner, because if this is all clunked up right here, the brace is not going to be able to overlap over the side right here. And by doing so, if it was on there, it's just going to be pushing against this booger shit. So the first thing you're going to have to do is chop all this off, and this stuff isn't really that bad. One thing I did realize is after trying to chop it off with this huge humongous thing, which I don't recommend doing, I ended up getting actually a flathead screwdriver and a hammer, and I just started punching it down and then slowly started chipping it away, and it just made it to where it was a lot easier, and I just broke it off little bits by bits, and I just threw it away in the trunk, whatever. Well, I didn't throw it away in the trunk, but I threw it away little bits by bits into the trash. And I try to clean this up just a little bit to where it looks a little flat and square. I don't know exactly how much of this surface area is going to cover. I might need to trim more on each side. And yeah, all we're really going to have to do is that. And there's a possibility that I'm going to have to end up cutting this carpet over here, because I'm probably going to end up having to cut this trunk liner in here with an X-Acto knife, because as you can see, with the carpet in the way, it's going to block the rear strut tower brace. And so by doing so, I'm going to have to figure out exactly where I need to cut like a little square or so forth, and go from across to the other side, do the exact same thing to one side to the other, and from there we should have a rear strut tower brace installed. Only tools you're going to need for this job is an X-Acto knife to cut your carpet, a 15mm wrench, and an Allen key. Now I really don't know my tool names too well. This just said 5 on there, so I'm just letting you know it said 5. So right now we're going on the first test drive, and honestly, I'm not as nervous as I thought I would be, because like, I feel like my expectations are pretty high on this right now, considering the fact that my front one was amazing. Like, honestly, like, I would never get rid of that front strut tower brace. This rear one, on the other hand, I don't know if I'm definitely going to feel any difference in it. I really hope I do, but if I don't, I'm definitely going to be disappointed, because I lost $170 for absolutely no reason at all, other than for just the looks of it. So we're going to try this thing out right now, and I'm excited. I know that you guys aren't going to be able to exactly feel or see what's going on in the car, but at least you guys could check out my reaction to see that, hey, this thing actually works, or like, this thing's an absolute waste of money. I really hope the camera doesn't fall over, because I have it in a spot on the car where it just doesn't fit good at all. I'm just really hoping it stays put. The Mustangs don't really have any good spots to put cameras unless it's on your windshield, and I don't have any windshield mounts. I'm gonna be turning this car pretty aggressively, so we're gonna find out really shortly how this thing's gonna feel. Oh, I got a car right here in front of me. Turn. Okay, that's pretty tight. I thought the rear lower control arms on the car were tight, but damn, that really plants it. I actually want to punch it, and I want to see how it turns around a corner. Oh, there goes all the shit in my trunk. All right. Holy I heard the rear end like skirt a little bit. Not even because I was pushing on the gas hard, but I was like punching on the gas. Not really like crazy, but I was going about maybe 40%. And I heard the rear end squeal, and the car didn't even want to shift out of that one little spot. It was just wanting to go straight the entire time. Man, I love this so far. It's like, it's one of those weird things where you just don't know it's there, but it's there. I love aftermarket suspension parts because it literally feels like it's OEM, but better. So I'm gonna give it another shot. People are gonna think I'm drunk driving over here when I'm really not. But I'm gonna take some couple hard turns again. Okay, there is like no body roll at all. Like, the only thing I'm feeling is my ass moving around in this seat. And I feel like if I had better seats, it would really feel planted to the ground. I do have one more suspension part that is coming in the mail, and it is a BMR rear Panhard bar brace, and it's taken a while to get here, and that should straighten out the rear end even more. I'm excited for that because it's going to make the rear end even stronger. My goal is not really power, because I feel like power on these 3.7 liter Mustangs, I already have decent power from factory, and with a little bit of aftermarket mods, as in like the pedal commander or a tune or a throttle body spacer or muffler, etc., etc. But you can already tune these just a little bit to where you can get a little bit more oomph out of it. But I feel like suspension, you get a lot more fun than trying to go for power, because yeah, I mean, if you have a V8, go for power, that's fun. You also want to have the suspension to back up that power. But the power, I mean, but the suspension on the 3.7 liters, it feels like a track car. And it just makes it fun when you're turning, and it just feels like you're really planted to the ground, and it feels like you're actually in an exotic car, even though this is a rental car, as you could say, because you see them everywhere whenever it comes to driving around in Vegas. But just as you start building them up and making them a little bit better here and there just from factory, because the factory made a lot of weak parts, but they also made a lot of decent parts. So as you start upgrading more and more and more on the suspension, it really starts feeling like a legit real car that you feel like you can control. The car's not controlling you, you're controlling it. I'm gonna turn one more time on this, but like, I just wanna say, wow. I recommend anybody so far, as of just taking a couple little turns at around 30, 35 miles an hour, just taking some sharp turns, I recommend you getting this, because it really plants your car to the ground. And my main inspiration behind doing all the suspension mods is mainly my buddy Joe. My buddy has a 1989 240 SX, and his main thing is that, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of power because he has a single cam car, but he wanted to go ahead and just do all the suspension mods, so when he decides to one day throw a new motor in it, he already has the suspension to back it up. And right now his car literally rides on rails, and this car is soon to do that. All right, I'm gonna go up to 40. We're gonna take a hard left right now. Woo! And it literally feels like the car is still stock. You don't even feel any difference at all with it, other than the fact that when you do turn, it just feels a lot more tight. There's less body roll, it feels like you're more planted, and when you do really punch it around a corner, it doesn't feel like it's gonna lose control on you, and it feels like you actually maintain control of your car. Obviously, if you had more suspension components, the better your car is going to handle. I have a decent amount already on this car, and I really feel like it made a big difference, and I'm happy I made these upgrades to the car, because it makes me feel like I am not the one not in control, if that makes sense. So one day, if I ever put big power into this car, if I ever get to that point, I have the suspension components to back it up. I'm actually, one thing I do want to point out is I'm surprised this camera's still sitting at the edge of my door, because I really thought it would have fallen by now. So that's all I have for you guys today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and you learned a little bit of something out of it. Hopefully this motivates you to go get a rear strut tower brace or even upgrade the suspension on your car. I feel like this part is very underrated because I don't see a lot of people even talking about it or even considering getting one. I'm just like, when I'm on these forums or just even reading stuff on it, there's not really too many people that have talked about it. And I've just always been a suspension person. I do like having a lot of suspension mods, and I just feel like it's just one of those things where it really makes you feel like you're in control of your vehicle. So I definitely recommend this part for your car. I feel like it's 100% worth the $170. If you can find a cheaper option, then possibly go with that cheaper option, because strut tower braces, I believe, just personally me, work exactly the same as any other one, just depending on whatever model you get. I feel like you pay for the name, you pay for the brand, and if you want to get a high quality part, that's what you're going to get. If you pay for a cheap part, then obviously that's what you're going to get out of that as well. So again, thank you guys all so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.